We actually live in a time of pure, unadulterated Trump derangement syndrome, which used to be a joke. It used to be something you would say as a joke, but it's become real. I have a prediction that in the future, there's actually going to be a diagnosis of people who have been mentally damaged because of what they've been caused to believe about President Trump. And I'm thinking in terms of PTSD, trauma responses, and anxiety. And I will tell you, you think I'm being hyperbolic. I have loved ones who are terrified of him. And please respond, I think, in this way. Don't try to convince them otherwise. Meet them where they're at, be empathetic, and say something akin to this. If they ever came for you, they'd have to come through me. I love you, your family, and I would never forsake you for politics, and mean it. I do think, though, there's this Trump derangement syndrome, and it has hit the media so hard. It's a lot like being in a casino. It is. I watched a friend of mine one time, very talented radio host, brilliant man. I watched him in Las Vegas get about $40,000 up at the craps table. And he owed child support and owed money on a car that he had destroyed and was still paying the bank loans off. He was a young guy. And we finally went to him and said, hey, dude, come on, let's leave. And the pit boss got furious and said, get away from the table, get away from the player. Of course. Why would they want us to convince him to leave? It's only a matter of time before that money's gone. So we took him to the cash window. He cashed out. In fact, as I'm thinking about it, it was $45,000. He cashed out. We went out to dinner, and this guy loved food, and went back up to the hotel rooms, and someone stayed with him. One of my other friends stayed in that room with him to wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning, and our friend was gone. And he was downstairs at the crap table, and he was down. He owed the casino money. He was chasing, and this time I'm going to, and this time I'm going to. Now, there's sort of a happy and weird ending to this that I will attempt to remember to tell you about, but this is the Mockingbird media and Trump. He's their great white whale, the thing that they will chase forever and never possess, the things that they will want. They will go so far to possess a thing they can't possess, and every time it seems like they're just closer to possessing it, their endorphin rushes just hit them. The dopamine, the serotonin, man, I'm going to get it this time. I'm going to convince America he's literally Hitler, and they continue to up and up and up the stakes. And if you've ever been in a circumstance where there's a thing that you just think you're just inches from possessing, a thing you shouldn't even have, then you could relate. So whales, what does this have to do with whales? It's not just the white whale metaphor. It's an actual instance, and I'll explain this in a second. The other thing I talked about, I'll tell the happy ending here in a second, the economic happy ending to my friends, and it was so bizarre that it happened. But the economic happy ending for America, it may not come. It may not, truly. God may decide, you know what? It's time to leave you right now to your own devices economically and just let the dust settle, and maybe you'll come to me. And praise God if that happens, and it will. People will go to him. That doesn't mean that your economic situation needs to crash and burn. It doesn't. There are ways to make money on raising interest rates. There are ways to hedge your bets that maybe the interest rates are going to finally come down. There are ways to do all of this. And my friend Zach Abraham, a Chief Investment Officer at Bulwark Capital Management, is an expert at risk management. His entire fund is predicated upon risk management, which they think is accomplished by actively managing every single portfolio. And I concur, because that can reduce risk and volatility. And in my personal opinion, it's the only thing that really reduces it in this era. But that's my personal opinion. Zach is giving a free live webinar. He is the first free live webinar after the election. We're going to know who won or was installed, and he's going to tell you what's likely to happen in his mind. He can't predict the future, but what's likely to happen. He'll also answer your questions about Bulwark, their method, and how you can help avoid risk and volatility. It's a free live webinar, but you have to register. So go to knowyourriskradio.com. That's KNOW, knowyourriskradio.com.
Investment advisory services offered through Trek Financial LLC, an SEC-registered investment advisor. The opinions expressed in this program are for general informational purposes only and are not intended to provide specific advice or recommendations for any individual or on any specific security. Any references to performance of securities are thought to be materially accurate, and actual performance may differ. Investments involve risk and are not guaranteed. Past performance doesn't guarantee future results. Trek 24308.
The happy ending economically for my friend was this. He was down to the casino. We put up some money to pay him off, about $1,000. So he didn't walk out in debt to the casinos because they're not nice people. The dude is walking out of the casino, and he takes the last money he had in his pocket, which we gave him so he could eat food. He pops it into a one-arm band, what is called, slot machine. And you're not to say as God is your witness, so I won't do that. He won $5,000. Walking out of the stinking casino. And guess what he wanted to do? Guess. This is a sign of, no, we're leaving. We made him leave. So the media continues to chase their white whale. They continue to get their endorphins up. Now we've got them. That sense, that thrill in their skin, their flesh. When President Trump went on Joe Rogan's program and he talked about industrial wind turbines killing whales, the Mockingbird media seized on it. Seized. See, that's what they say that Republicans do. They seized. They seized on it. And they said, here we go, Trump lying again. Just like when he lied about trees blowing up in California during fires, except that trees blow up during fires. Some specific trees blow up and they're like shrapnel and they can kill first responders. Turns out Trump was right about that. So is there any reason to believe that wind turbines are actually killing whales?
1,000%. That is the boat.
Let's bring it to dead stop. I saw another whale had washed up. It's becoming a pattern. Is it the windmills? Is it the pounding of the seafloor? How many whales is it going to take?
There aren't many places where the North Atlantic right whale can go. It's destined to extinction.
It sounds like they're like also like pile driving.
This is what the whale is experiencing, and I'm not on my land.
What the United States is looking at is thousands of wind turbines in an area that our whales, our dolphins, our marine life, where they live, where they migrate, where they breed. It's only when they started going into the wind lease areas that we believe that the whales are dying.
So those red dots are whale deaths.
Precisely.
What a scandal.
It's one of the great investigative journalists of our time, Michael Schellenberger, also who has been a whistleblower on the censorship industrial complex. It's called Thrown to the Wind. This is a documentary. There's a link to it. It's down below here and in our show notes. So, in fact, I've had email after email after email from people who live on the East Coast. When I used to fill in for Rush Limbaugh, God rest you, Maha. Thank you for everything you did for us. We got emails. We had people on the program, people on my morning show in Seattle on this program, talking about these wind turbines and what they're doing to whales because it's just suddenly happened. The Mockingbird media, who used to be a Save the Whales organization across the board, who has told us, in fact, that Trump would poison our seas, who backed Barack Hussein Obama, who said, now is the time that the ocean tides will begin to recede. Our planet will begin to heal. Trump was right. But when you're pursuing a thing you shouldn't have and are never going to get, man, the endorphin rush. But just like with my friend at the casino, there's actually some good news. Some people have been accusing us on this program of being the people who are pursuing a thing that we're never going to get, which is justice on the issue of and I'm just reporting news. Attention to the YouTube people who, your platform, your rule, I'm just reporting news. That's all I'm doing. This is straight news. The Idaho Board of Health in the Southwest District of Idaho will no longer offer the COVID-19 shots after its board voted 4-3 last week to pull the shots from the 30 locations where it provides healthcare services. They have said, and again, I'm quoting news, that the shots are neither safe nor effective, and they don't recommend it to people. That's just news. That's all I'm saying. I'm simply reporting news. If you'd like to hear my commentary on this, where I go deep diving into it, go to the toddhermanshow.substack.com, where I'll say a whole bunch of things because they're a different platform with different rules. And I'm a rule follower. Everybody who knows me well, just in the studio, just with the head just whipped around. You're a what? Lord, help us remember that we shouldn't always chase the things our flesh wants. Help us remember that.